Greetings, dear listeners. Welcome to today's program. The topic we're discussing today might challenge some of our familiar ways of thinking. But I believe that for every person who is seriously following Jesus in the workplace, this is a reflection worth pausing for. Over the past few decades, theology of work has almost become a prominent field of study within the church. It has helped countless brothers and sisters striving in the workplace rediscover their spiritual identity. That my work is not just about making a living, but also a form of worship. That the workplace is also sacred ground, where I am sent as a witness. These things are true, and they are precious. But today I want to raise a question. Could it be that this wave of workplace ministry has, without us realizing it, lost something equally important? That something is called eschatological vision. Or to put it more plainly, do we still remember that we are only passing through? Are we still ready to let go at any moment? In today's program, I want to address this issue from two angles. First, the direction of the timeline. Work is a commission for the present, but not an anchor for the ultimate. Second, an examination of our mindset. We must be careful not to let the theology of work turn into an illusion of self-comfort. This is not an easy message, but I invite you, with an open heart, to face this question together. Point 1. Work is a guidance for the present, not an anchor for the ultimate. Let's start with the first angle. Looking at the biblical timeline, work is God's calling to those who are living in the here and now. The book of Genesis makes it very clear. God placed humanity in the Garden of Eden to cultivate and keep it. As long as we have breath, we are called to be diligent and faithful in the workplace, set apart for Him. This is our present stewardship. This is what the theology of work helps us understand. But when we shift our perspective to the end times, to an eternal view, everything changes. One day, when we stand before God, your business card, your titles, your achievements, the career empire you've spent half your life building, all of it will reveal its true weight in the light of eternity. Even in this life, when God issues a clear and profound personal direction to someone, that person must be ready to let go at any moment. The Bible never avoids this tension. Think of Jonah. He had his own life, his own plans. But when God's command came, his personal career plans had to be completely set aside. Look at Peter and Matthew. They met Jesus by the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus said, "Follow me." Their immediate work, casting nets, collecting taxes, instantly gave way to a greater calling. Let me emphasize here. This does not mean that dropping everything and changing paths is the only model of following Jesus. We'll talk about Lydia and Daniel in a moment. They are examples of those who stayed and deeply rooted themselves. But what I want to say is this. Letting go must always remain a genuine possibility in our hearts. Work itself is good, but work has never been ultimate. What happens when a Christian's view of work loses this ready to let go at any moment perspective? It turns into a settler mentality. We begin, quietly, to build our own little kingdom on earth using our careers, our influence, and our achievements. Do you know, the Bible tells a story about a group of people who wanted to build a city and a tower that reached to the heavens, to make a name for themselves. Isn't that exactly a settler mentality? We want to leave our name here. We want to establish our kingdom here. The Pilgrim mentality is the opposite. A pilgrim knows that everything in their hands can be returned at any moment. Work, in their life, is God's gift, not an idol that holds their soul captive. That is the first reminder I want to share today. If our view of work lacks an eschatological vision, it can turn from a living path into a stagnant trap. Point 2. Do not let the theology of work become an illusion of self-comfort. Now, the second reminder. This one requires us to be even more honest with ourselves. Church history has seen a certain error. People using external things to purchase inner peace. Using money to soothe a guilty conscience. This was once an issue that needed reformation. Today, some distorted forms of the theology of work are replaying a similar struggle in a different form. What do I mean? Let me be clear. This is not a reenactment of that historical system. But it is similarly an illusion of self-comfort, using work achievements to soothe a conscience troubled by greed or ambition. I see two conditions worth examining. The first, dressing up worldly achievements in spiritual packaging. Some brothers and sisters chase fame and fortune in the marketplace, engage in aggressive business tactics, and constantly expand their territory. But in the quiet of the night, their conscience feels vaguely uneasy. What do? They use the language of the theology of work to comfort themselves, saying, "I am being salt and light for the Lord. I am witnessing to my faith through business." My dear friend, if what you do, your methods, and your mindset are no different from your non-believing competitors, then could the words, being light for the Lord, be nothing more than an excuse to cover greed? Could work achievements have become an illusion of self-comfort? The second, using the theology of work as a shield against responding to a deeper invitation. God clearly issues a gentle yet clear invitation for you to leave your comfort zone and move in a direction that requires sacrifice. Perhaps it's to care for a neglected group of people. Perhaps it's to step into a different area of service. Perhaps it's to let go of something you're clinging to tightly. But how do you respond? You say, well, I can witness in the workplace too. Why change paths? Staying here or leaving, isn't it the same? That sounds reasonable, doesn't it? But the truth behind those words might be that you're using the theology of work to avoid a deeper invitation. Jesus once said to a young man, "Go, sell everything you have, give to the poor, and come, follow me." That young man went away sad. Jesus didn't run after him saying, "It's okay, you can witness in your current position too." Jesus' invitation to those who follow him is one of total surrender. It is, let go of everything and follow me. If the theology of work dilutes the radical nature of this invitation, making every calling easily dismissible as staying put, then it is not helping us follow Jesus. It's helping us find a comfortable place to stay. Of course, let me be clear. This is not a wholesale rejection of the value of staying and going deep. Staying and doing good work can absolutely be God's will. But the question is, we need to honestly ask ourselves, what is my real motivation for choosing to stay? Is it obedience, or is it reluctance? Is it faithfulness, or is it fear of change? Point 3. Set apart, and true open-handedness. Alright, after those two reminders, let's talk about what a healthy way forward looks like. Whether in the present or the end times, God's core invitation to his people has never changed. That core is being set apart. What does it mean to be set apart in the workplace? It means not being assimilated by the greed, fraud, and power struggles of the market. Everyone else takes shortcuts, I won't. Everyone else uses dishonest tactics to hit targets, I won't. At every moment of ethical decision, choose faithfulness over compromise. This in itself is a daily, taking up your cross, a dying to self. And outside of work, being set apart means keeping your hands open. My position, my profession, my accumulated achievements, not one of them ultimately belongs to me. But here's a crucial clarification, so please listen carefully. Open-handedness refers first to a posture of heart, surrendering ownership to God, and only secondarily to an external career change. God's guidance is not limited to the uprooting model. For Peter, guidance meant interruption. Jesus said, "Follow me," and he left his nets behind, never to return. But for Lydia, the seller of purple cloth, guidance did not mean leaving her business. It meant rooting deeply where she was. Because her hands were open, her business and wealth could be used by God at any moment to host Paul and support the gospel mission. And Daniel? He served as a high official in the Babylonian and Persian empires for decades. He never left his position. But at the edge of the lion's den, he proved who his true allegiance belonged to. The true pilgrim mentality is not a floating sense of leaving at any moment that refuses genuine commitment. No, the true pilgrim, because they do not treat work as their ultimate security, is actually able to offer the healthiest, most selfless investment in the workplace. Think about it. If Lydia hadn't deeply rooted herself in her business, would she have had the resources to support Paul? If Daniel hadn't faithfully served within the system, how could he have witnessed for God in a foreign palace? Their staying was not due to greed, but to obedience. And their staying became obedience because their hands were always open. Dear listeners, these reflections are a much-needed wake-up call for contemporary workplace ministry. The theology of work is precious. It helps us avoid a fractured faith during the work week, knowing that we are sent into the world with a mission. But it must never dilute two things: Jesus' total invitation to those who follow him, and the freedom to let go at any moment. Maintaining a pilgrim posture of open hands is an essential discipline for every generation of believers. If God said to you today, "Enough. Put it down. Come with me," could you move on to the next journey without hesitation? But if God said, "Stay. Govern this land for me," could you patiently sow in tears, living out the values of the kingdom in your workplace, little by little? The real battle has never been about what we possess. The real battle is in our hearts, what we cling to. Open-handedness is never a single action. It is a continuous, eternal-facing decision. Thank you for listening to today's program. If this episode has inspired you, feel free to share it with friends who are struggling in the workplace. See you next time.